श्रीवत्सवंशकलशोदधिकौस्तुभस्य श्रीवासराघवगुरोस्तनयं ततश्च विद्या अवाप्य विबुधोत्तमतां दधानं कुर्वे सदा हृदि गुरुं करुणाकराख्यं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये मातापिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखरयोगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकालयतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यं श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि. Namaste. In the previous lecture, we saw about how dharmis have dharma. Dharma referring to property. If you translate it to property, dharmi by definition should possess at least one dharma. Otherwise, it cannot be called dharmi. We saw about this. We saw that one dharmi can have one dharma or many dharmas. A dharma by itself can also have more dharmas inside, but every dharmi will definitely have some dharma or the other. And we saw a little more into it. We also discussed about how the transformation of Mula Prakriti resulted in everything else, from Prakriti to Mahat, then Ahankara, then Indriyas came, the Panchabhutas came, the Karmendriyas and Jnanendriyas came, the Panchabhutas and Panchatanmatras came, from Shabda Akasha came. So Tanmatra is the state between the Bhutas. So if we say Akashat Vayuhu, Akasha does not directly become Vayu. There is a stage before those two. That is a Tanmatra. So in this way, Tanmatra Bhuta, in that way, it got created. Now we saw about that as well in the previous lecture. Now we will see something more. We are going to look at the Panchabhutas. Now what are the Panchabhutas? Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, right? Apaha, when we say apaha is the plural word referring to water. Akasha, many people use the word ether for it. But the word ether itself appears to have different definitions based on which Westerner uses which one. Let us, for our convenience, call it just Akasha and understand that it is not something that exists inside of space. The word Akasha can itself be used for space itself. But there is Akasha and there is Vayu. By Vayu, we don't refer to the wind. We refer to anything and everything that is here in the air. Any kind of gaseous movement would be an indication of Vayu. So for example, what we have in our human body, we call it as prana. We say there are pancha pranas. What are these? Prana, Vyana, Apana, Udana, Samana. These five are together also called as pranas. For example, in Mahabharata, Duryodhana once asked Krishna, Bhishma Dronavati Mam Chaiva Madhusudana Kimartham Pundarikaksha Bhuktam Vishala Bhojana. Krishna was sent by the Pandavas as a Duta. He went as a messenger. When Krishna went as a messenger, he did not stay in the royal palace of Duryodhana, who is the heir. He is going to become the next king unless the Pandavas get into a battle and defeat him and kill him and so on. He did not go to Bhishma's house or even Drona's house. Bhishma is the protector of the entire kingdom. He is a very great dharmika, himself a great bhakta as well. But Krishna did not go to his house. Drona is a great brahmana. He is also a great acharya of Dhanurveda and so on. Krishna did not go there. Kimartham pundarikaksha bhuktam vishalabhoja. Why did you have to go to that low-born Vidura's house and eat food from there? This is the question of Duryodhana. Krishna replies very beautifully. Why are we seeing the shloka? To see an example of the usage of the word prana in the scripture, where it refers to the combination of the five. Vishadannam na bhoktavyam, vishantam naiva bhojayet, pandavan mishase rajan, mama pranahi pandavaha. It is wrong to consume poison. You shouldn't eat poison, you will die. If you go and eat at the house of your enemies, they might feed you poison. The Pandavas might be enemies for you, but for me, they are pranas. The Pancha Pandavas are like Pancha pranas for me. In this way, Krishna replies to Duryodhana. Among the five also, prana is very important. That one which is called prana, Mukhya prana, it is very, very important. And in the Veda discusses its greatness. Once it is debated as to who is the most important. Each person takes a break and goes away to see whether the human is able to function without them. When prana leaves, despite the presence of everybody else, nothing happens. Therefore, prana is declared the greatest. Just a story to illustrate the importance of prana. Now, we have these pranas. Does Vayu imply only the pranavayus? No. Pranavayus are Vayu Visheshas. Prana is a Vayu Vishesha. The air that is outside, even if there is carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, whatever, it would still fall under Vayu. Okay. Akasha, Vayu, Agni. Agni means what? Fire, right? You can take it as the element of heat itself, not necessarily fire. We call it Agni, but Agni does not necessarily mean fire. We say even the human body is made up of Panchabhutas. Does it mean my body is made up of fire? It is not made up of fire. Heat is associated with energy. Where there is zero heat, there would be zero energy. The kinetic energy, the energy with which you are able to move, it requires some heat. You might produce heat through physical movement, but where there is no heat, there would be no movement itself. But let us not get into that. That is science. So there is Agni. Then there is water, of course. And then there is Prithvi. Prithvi means earth, right? Earth already has water, right? No, no, no. Don't take it that way. Take it as a solid component of the earth. Now you have Panchabhutas. How were they formed is something that we have already seen. We saw how Mahat becomes Ahankara, then from Ahankara, so many things come. Shabda Tanmatra comes, then Akasha, then Vayu, then Agni, and so on. We have already seen that. But when we say that we are a combination of the Panchabhutas, are we just having some percentage of these bhutas? Is it something like Brahma took X percent of one bhuta, Y percent of another bhuta, like that, and he took all the five and he mixed them, and suddenly the human body was created? Not so. Before this kind of creation, there was a specific kind of mixture that was done. This mixture was done by Paramatma. Oh, wasn't it done by Brahma? Take it as the Paramatma who was the Antaryami of Brahma. He first mixed the bhutas, and after that, using them, he created. So, whatever was created here was created using a mixture of bhutas. We should understand that. How did he do it? How did he do that mixture? There are two parts that need to be looked at. Let us look at both of them one by one. Try to understand them properly and then move on. The first is division into three. This is mentioned in Chandogya Upanishad. It is mentioned in the Vedas that Bhagavan, he takes the sankalpa, anena jivena atmananu pravishya namarupe vyakaravani tasam trivritam ekaikam karavani. If anything has name and form, it is because Bhagavan created it that way. In the beginning, during the early stages of creation, if you could put it that way, Prakriti was there. The jivas were all there. What else is there? There is Jada, there is Jiva, then there is Ishvara. That's it, right? The thing was, Ishvara was himself the supreme controller, this, that, and everything. But everything other than him was indistinguishable from each other. If there are 10 jivas, but they cannot be distinguished from each other, what is the point? So, in the early stages of creation, what was there was indistinguishable. You cannot identify the differences there. From that stage, Bhagavan changed it to a differentiable stage where you can identify the differences. For that difference, what do you need? You need an identity. When I say this is one entity, that is another entity, how am I able to say it? Entities require identities. When the identity of X is different from the identity of Y, I will say X is different from Y. How do these things get their identities? In the context of creation, they get their identities through names and forms. For something that is having the ability to be given a name, it should already be distinct. Correct? Let us say I have a bottle with me. Now, this bottle that I have, it would have two components. One is the bottle itself and one is the lid or the cap. So I can identify the cap as something that closes and opens the bottle, and the bottle itself, which is simply a container of a specific shape. If the shape changes too much, I wouldn't call it a bottle. We call it a bottle when it is of a particular shape. If it looks like an earthen pot, I probably wouldn't call it as a bottle. I would call it as a pot. That is also a container, but the shape changed, right? So when the shape changes, the identity appears to change. For you to have a distinguishable identity, you should be having some unique properties different from the other. Let us say I have the pot on top of a table. I am able to distinguish between the pot and the table because Bhagavan has made it that way. Even what I assume to be obvious, right? What is this? The table is different, pot is different. Everybody knows. I knew this since I was 2 years old, 3 years old. What is the big deal? The big deal is that we should be grateful even for that. If we are able to distinguish, that is also by the grace of Bhagavan. Now there are some schools in which they say distinguishing is a bad thing. Distinguishing is a bad thing because it takes you away from Bhagavan. Let us try to understand that properly and then come back to what we were discussing. In Advaita, it is said that you should not see differences. In fact, they cite the Vedas in this regard. Mrityum cha mrityuma apnoti. Right? Something like that is said. Yeah, iha nanaiva pashyati. Mrityum apnoti does not mean he dies. It means he gets into much more of avidya, far, far away from moksha. Understand it that way. You should not identify it as many. The identification as many is a flaw. This is the teaching of Advaita. Now, Advaita, when it says this, how is it really saying and why it is saying should be understood. If we just take this much, we might not be able to appreciate either side. The side that says it is wrong to see differences, or the side like Dvaita, which says there are inherent differences. You have to accept difference at all points of time. Both has its own, both of them have their own beauty. We should understand that and appreciate. What is the beauty in saying you should not differentiate? By differentiating, I am forgetting Paramatma. As per Advaita, there is only one Atma. That Atma itself is Paramatma. And that Atma is only everywhere. Nothing else is there. I should not see anything else. If I'm seeing anything else, it means I'm ignorant. Therefore, when I'm distinguishing between the table and the bottle, I am forgetting Paramatma. That is a good thing about the teaching, that it says, think about Paramatma, don't think about these differences. Should we only think that way then? What about the schools that talk about differences? Is that also totally wrong? Is looking at a difference between table and bottle wrong? No, it is not wrong. I cannot drink water from a table, can I? But does the water exist? Advaita will say water itself does not exist. Vishishtadvaitha does not say that. Dvaita does not say that. As per them, water exists. So this creation, as we are describing, we have said that Panchabhutas got created. That creation is accepted as real in Vishishtadvaitha and Advaita. So point number one, it exists. Point number two, even under the assumption that it does not exist, have you realized that it does not exist? If you have realized that water does not exist, you would have also realized that you are not your body. Then you will not have any hunger, you will not have any thirst, you will not have any problem. But there is neither the clear indication from Vedas nor clear indication from my own mind. Therefore, I have to drink water. I'm talking. As I'm talking, I'm getting thirsty. What do? I go and drink water. Oh, why are you drinking water? You are not your body. You are the Atma. Atma doesn't need water. Atma doesn't get thirsty. All of that is fine. But the Atma has been given a body so that it could use it for some good purpose. For me to perform the sadhanas that will take me towards moksha, I need the body. For me to perform the sadhanas that will take me towards moksha, I need the body. Atma cannot function by itself. It needs a usable body. The jiva needs a usable body. Atma cannot function by itself. This is accepted by Advaita also. It is nirguna, as a matter of fact, in Advaita. In Vishishta Advaita, we call jiva also as Atma. We call it as jivatma. This jivatma we differentiate from Paramatma using Sharira Shariri Bhava and so on. And we are saying, being Atma, it cannot do anything without the body. Can you do anything without your body? I will meditate on Parabrahman. Okay, how are you doing it? You're using your body. I will keep contemplating on the oneness of the universe. Ekamevad says the Advaiti. That is also done using the body. Advaita accepts that you are in the realm of ignorance. It does not accept that you are in the realm of realization. You are ignorant, and unless and until you acknowledge the ignorance, you will not try to come out of it as per Advaita itself. Now coming to Vishishta Advaita, if you wish to come out of this state where you are a baddha, you are bound by karma, you are having so many problems, you have to get out of it. The very purpose of the jiva has not been met the way you have been living. To do all of that, what should I do? Whatever I do, whatever you call it, bhakti, sharanagati, whatever, I need the human body for that. So if it is knowledge that is going to give me moksha, for that knowledge, for getting that knowledge, I need the body. If it is devotion that is going to give me moksha, for performing devotion, I need the body. So the body is inevitable. It needs to be there. And the teaching of the acharyas of Vishishtha Advaita is that therefore we should take proper care of the body. We should take proper care of the body so that we are able to perform seva to Bhagavan properly. This body is not mine. Namama Shripate Reva. This is not mine. This belongs to Shripati, Sriman Narayana. Therefore, I have no right to harm it. Even if something bad happens in my life, I have no right to go and commit suicide. I have no right to commit self-harm. I don't have the right to harm others also. They also belong to Bhagavan. I also belong to Bhagavan. I should take proper care of my body so that it is used for the purpose of pleasing Bhagavan by performing service the way Bhagavan has prescribed. This is the teaching. And for me to do that, I need to accept the Panchabhutas. If I get thirsty, I have to drink water. Unless, of course, I'm doing a vrata. That's a different story. That's an exceptional case. Oh, I'm thirsty on Ekadashi. Can I drink water? That is not what we are discussing right now. So, there is a need to differentiate so that we know when I'm thirsty, will I drink water or will I drink something else that will make me even more thirsty? We should think about it, right? If we don't differentiate, how will we be able to live? I go to perform puja, I go to perform homa. If I cannot distinguish between flowers and stones, what will I offer to the deity? Let us say there is a vigraha, pratishta has been done. Instead of offering flowers, right? Flowers are very mildly and softly offered by dropping them near that vigraha or on the vigraha, whatever. If instead of scented flowers, I start using granite stones, what would happen? So I need the ability to distinguish. But this ability to distinguish is not being used by me to forget Bhagavan and move away from him. The ability to distinguish is being used by me to ensure that I am able to focus in Bhagavan properly. Focusing in the topic of Bhagavan. Focusing on the entity that is supreme. For me to be able to do that, I need this distinguishing. So distinguishing by itself is not wrong. What you are distinguishing for, what is the purpose you are doing it for, that is what is going to decide. Is this clear? So when the Veda says distinguishing is wrong, we say yes, distinguishing is wrong, but that is normal distinguishing. But we say you do all the distinguishing in the world for the sake of bhakti, for the sake of Bhagavan. When seen that way, it will be different. Let us say I am a rich man. I see a beggar. If I think, oh, the beggar is also like me only, why should I help him? And I walk away. I will not have any compassion. For me to have good qualities like kindness, compassion, and so on, I should be able to distinguish. So that kind of differentiation, that kind of distinguishing is okay. There is nothing wrong there. Let us understand that and move on. Now, division into three is said. It is called a Trivrit Karanam. Three bhutas are mentioned. Prithvi, Jala, Tejas. This is said in Chandogya Upanishad. Okay, what are you doing with the three? A major component. Let us say there is a vessel which has three parts. A major part of 50% and two minor parts of 25%, as you can see in the pie chart on the right. Now, what are you having? The major part, the major component, you are filling it with one bhuta. The remaining, you are filling with others. This becomes Trivrit Karana. What is the resultant mixture? In the example that is given in the image, the resultant mixture is a mixture of Prithvi, Jala and Tejas, but it will be called Prithvi. This is the mixture that predominantly contains Prithvi. Like this, two more mixtures will be made. One with Jala having 50%, Prithvi and Tejas having the remaining. The third one with Tejas having the major percent and Prithvi and Jala having the smaller percent. So that mixture, after Trivrit Karanam, that mixture which has more Prithvi than the others is itself called Prithvi. That mixture which has more Jala than the other two, it is called Jala. So what did we get? From pure Prithvi, we got slightly impure Prithvi, not slightly, literally 50%. but impure Prithvi, a mixed Prithvi. From pure Jala, we got mixed Jala. When I say mixed Jala, don't imagine some kind of polluted water that we see in Ganga river. This is a different type. Okay. How could Prithvi ever mix with Jala? I don't know. Maybe when you see salt dissolving in water, you would have no problem in believing in it. Anyway, this is called a Trivrit Karana. Now a question might arise. There are 5 bhutas. Correct? There are 5 bhutas that we are supposed to have. By Tejas, let us say you are referring to Agni. No big deal. You got 3 bhutas. But what happened to the other 2? And why should I mix Prithvi only with Jala and Tejas? What if I mix it with Akasha and Vayu? 50% Prithvi, 25% Akasha, 25% Vayu. Then what? What is the problem? Will it be a different Prithvi? Of course, it will be a different Prithvi because the components are different. Then how will I distinguish between that Prithvi and this Prithvi? Why is only this combination mentioned? These kinds of questions could arise. But before we move on, let me first confirm from you people whether you understood what was discussed. Did you understand about how this particular example is given in the scripture? Please repeat. Okay. See, this is an example given in the scripture. Prithvi, Jala, and Tejas are mentioned. They are mixed together in 3 combinations. One combination has been shown to you in the image where Prithvi is taking the majority, Tejas and Jala are taking the minority. What are the other 2? One where Tejas takes the majority and one where Jala takes the majority. The other 2 will take the smaller regions of the pie chart that you see on the right. This is what is mentioned in the scripture. Now, the question is, why does scripture only talk about 3? What about the other 2? Ideally, 5 of them should be mixed. Because if I mix only 3, then which 3 am I mixing is also an important question to ask. What if I take Akasha instead of Jala? Prithvi, Tejas, and Akasha. You said Trivrit Karanam, right? Mixing of 3. If I mix Prithvi with Tejas and Akasha, you should still call it Trivrit Karanam. But Prithvi mixed with Tejas and Akasha would be different from Prithvi mixed with Tejas and Jala. Both, despite having the majority as Prithvi, both the combinations, despite having the majority as Prithvi, they will change in their minority composition. So why is this specific example said? And why not something else? That is a question that could arise. Now is it clear, Ram Charanji? Okay. So before we come to the answer, let us see if having a mixture of 5 could solve the problem. Panchikarana. Now you take a container, you fill 50% of it with one bhuta just like before, but there you had only 2 more. Here you have 4 more. What do? You divide them equally. So 50% was given away to Prithvi. Remaining 50% is divided equally between Akasha, Vayu, Jala, and Agni. What happens then when you mix it that way? When you mix it that way, you will get the pie chart that is shown here. 50% is Prithvi, 12.5 for Tejas or Agni, 12.5 for Jala, 12.5 for Akasha. 12.5 for Vayu. This seems to solve the problem, correct? Now this combination, what is it? From pure Prithvi, we got impure Prithvi. Why am I not calling it impure Vayu? Because it is still predominantly Prithvi. So this is impure Prithvi. Now instead of Prithvi, you keep something else. You keep Akasha there, 50% Akasha. 12.5% Prithvi, 12.5% Vayu, 12.5% Jala, 12.5% Agni. What would you get? You would get mixed Akasha. Is this clear? This is called Panchikarana. 12.5% is 1/8. Is this understood? Or do you want me to repeat it? Please let me know. This is mixed Prithvi. Like this, you will have mixed Vayu, mixed Akasha, mixed Jala, mixed Agni. You want to repeat? Okay, fine.
No, it's clear.
Okay, no, Ramcharanji has said in the message saying yes, repeat. See, assume that this pie chart, assume that it is a plate, okay? And it just has divisions. Half of it you filled with Prithvi. Think of it this way. Your mother cooked food. She cooked rice and she cooked 4 vegetables. Half of the plate you filled with rice. 4 vegetables, you are giving them equal space from the remaining. The remaining half of the plate is being filled equally by using the 4 of them. That is all you have done here. Now assume that the vegetables are the remaining bhutas and the rice is the main bhuta. Prithvi is taking 50%. The other 4 are taking smaller percentages. Now is it clear, Ramcharanji? So this is with Prithvi. Now instead of Prithvi, you could change. Maybe you like one vegetable too much. There are people who eat less rice and more vegetables. What would they do? What would such a person do on such a plate which has these kind of 5 divisions? That one vegetable that he likes a lot, with that he will fill 50% of the plate. And rice he will put in that remaining 1/8 portion which is there. That's all. You replace Akasha with Prithvi and Prithvi with Akasha. What will you get? You will get mixed Akasha. In this diagram, when you interchange the positions of Akasha and Prithvi, Akasha will become 50%, Prithvi will become 12.5%. So what would we call the mixture? We would call the mixture as Akasha only. I hope it is clear now, Ramcharanji.
Yes, Swami.
So, with Panchikarana, we are able to explain properly whatever has happened. Now, this, just like this image for Prithvi, there would be for Tejas, Jala, Akasha, Vayu. That completes the 5 bhutas. Okay, if this is only logical, why is the Upanishad saying something else? The Upanishad said Trivrat Karanam. We are saying Panchikaranam is correct. What is the difference? What we should understand is that, firstly, if you discredit Panchikarana by citing Chandogya Upanishad, you will get into several logical issues. But you cannot call the Upanishad as wrong. You have to accept whatever it has said. What about Panchikarana then? Panchikarana has also been mentioned in the scriptures plenty of times. Many people think it is mentioned only and only inside the Agama. People think it is mentioned only inside Pancharatra. But there are plenty of pramanas to show Panchikarana as well. Okay, now Panchikarana is said at some place in the scripture. Trivritkarana is said at some other place in the scripture. Isn't scripture contradicting itself? We answer that question by saying it is not contradicting itself. When the Upanishad says that Trivritkarana is there, it does not deny Panchikarana. Does it say that Panchikarana never happens? No. Therefore, there is no denial of Panchikarana anywhere. Okay, Panchikarana is not denied, but Trivritkarana is mentioned. No, how do we understand that? What we should understand is that even where only the three are mentioned, we should take them as implying the existence of the other two as well. When explaining, Trivritkarana is easier to explain than Panchikarana. Think about it. When I showed this looked much easier. When I have Panchabhutas being split this way, it looks more complicated. So even when the Upanishad talks about Trivritkarana, what is implied there is an example to understand Panchikarana. Is it understood?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, with this Panchikarana, what did we get? From pure Prithvi, we got mixed Prithvi, that is shown here. Like that, from pure Agni, we got mixed Agni. From pure Apa, we got mixed Apa. From pure Akasha, we got mixed Akasha. From pure Vayu, we got mixed Vayu. These five mixtures are then mixed with each other to create whatever has been created here, or whatever you see as creation is a creation done by mixing the mixtures. This is the teaching of the Veda. Oh, you want me to repeat that again? Okay, I will repeat. See, Ramcharanji, very simple. We said Bhagavan created mixtures, right? Like the one that is shown here. This is a mixture. Yet this mixture itself is called Prithvi. I'll give you a better example. Think about Bhagavad Gita. Who is a sattvic person? Yajante satvika devan yaksharaksham rajasaha pretan bhutaganan yajante tamasa janaha. You would have seen the shloka. Very simple. Sattvic person is the one who worships Deva. No, that is a property. Like that, the sattvic person has several properties listed in Bhagavad Gita. Now, a person who has all those properties, is that person 100% sattvic? Krishna clarifies in Bhagavad Gita. No, no, no. When I say that you are a sattvic person, I mean you have sattva guna more than rajo guna and tamo guna. Everybody has all the three gunas. All of you have all the three gunas. As per Vishishtadvaitha, you will have Shuddha Sattva only when you get moksha. Until then, you have all the three gunas. You have all the three gunas, but depending on whichever one is dominating in you at any given point of time, you are identified that way. If Sattva guna is more, Rajo guna and Tamo guna are less, then you will be called a Sattvic person. Let us see the previous one here. Instead of Prithvi, suppose you have Sattva Guna. Let us say your Guna space is 100%. 50% of that is Sattva, 25 is Rajas, 25 is Tamas. Then Sattva Guna is more than Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Therefore, you are more of a Sattvic person than a Rajasic or Tamasic person. In the same way, just like how a person who does not have 100% Sattva Guna, but predominantly Sattva Guna, maybe 55%, 75% something, is still called as a Sattvic person. In the same way, whichever mixture has predominantly Prithvi is also called Prithvi. Whichever one is predominantly having Akasha is also called Akasha. Is it understood, Ramcharanji? Okay. So now these mixtures are created. Using these mixtures, the actual mixture that we are seeing, that is like my human body, this table, the pot that I was talking about, and everything else, they are all created by using these mixtures. Is it clear? By mixing the mixtures with each other. Okay, very good. It is clear now. Thank you so much. That is what I was trying to explain. So, this is a concept already discussed in the Vedic scriptures. It is not totally new. Trivrit Karana, Panchikarana, they are known to people. But which one to accept, which one to not accept, how to understand it, how not to understand it. There are, although the division is explained the same way by everybody, how to interpret the division, there is a point of difference. So there are people who refuse to accept Panchikarana. We say, no, Panchikarana is only logical. It is able to explain better. Given that you are taking 50% of one bhuta and the remaining is split equally between the other bhutas, Trivrit Karana would create a lot of unnecessary combinations. If you have studied permutations and combinations, you would know. If you have studied permutations and combinations and try to understand Trivrit Karana, in the place of Prithvi, 1 out of 5 can be there. Put 5 there. In the place of Tejas, 1 out of 4 could be there. Any 1 out of 4. You put 4 there. In the place of Jala, 1 out of 3 could be there. Because 2 have been used up. Only 3 are left. So you put 3 there. What is the total? Is it huge? It is 5 into 4 into 3. That is 60. Now, this should be divided by some number. Because whether I have Tejas at one place and Jala at another place, or Jala at one place and Tejas at another place is not going to matter, right? The quantity that has been used is the same. So, you have to divide it. Correct? Isn't that how they do it? How do they do it? There is Prithvi. With Prithvi, there could be 4, 5 into how many different types of Prithvi would you have? You would have Prithvi with Tejas and Jala. With Prithvi and Tejas itself, you would have 3 types, right? With Jala, with Akasha, and with Vayu. So that would be 3. Now, how many things can replace Tejas. That could be replaced by 3 other items, which means you will put 4 there. And for Prithvi, there will be 5. So there are so many, 60 combinations that you have, right? 5 factorial divided by 5 minus 3, the whole factorial. That will give you 5 into 4 into 3. Please correct me if my mathematics is wrong. That kind of an unwanted confusion. What did he do with so many mixtures? How did he use which mixture where? And these mixtures again he is going to mix with each other to further create. When you say Trivrit Karanam, it sounds simple, but the number of combinations you get is much more. In Panchi Karanam, it is not that much. Or by saying Trivrit Karanam with just Prithvi, Jala and Tejas, are we saying that Akasha and Vayu were never used? Akasha was used as pure Akasha and Vayu was used as pure Vayu. Only Prithvi, Jala and Tejas were mixed. It leads to unwanted questions, unwanted hypothesis. Brahmana is not going to be there to say which one of the two, whether Akasha was pure Akasha, Vayu was pure Vayu. For that, the Pramana is not there. If it had been there, Trivrit Karanam could have been accepted and Panchi Karanam could have been questioned. So, at some places, the scriptures say Trivrit Karana. Some places, they say Panchi Karana. What we are saying is Trivrit Karana also implies Panchi Karana only. There is no problem. Is it clear?
Yes, Swam.
Okay. So with this, we will conclude today's class. If you have any question based on what we discussed today, please let me know.
So Bhagavan uses these mixtures like Prithvi, Tejas, Jala to create this universe which we are observing today. Right.
Yes, he used the mixture like this. Prithvi, Tejas, Jala, Akasha, Vayu. Mixture like this. Like this, there are 4 other mixtures, right? One with Tejas, one with Jala, one with Akasha, and one with Vayu, more than the others.
So
Using those
Trivrit Karanam. So Trivrit Karanam is like an easier explanation to the Panchi Karanam. It's not contradicting.
yes.
Uh, so the Panchabhutas are again turned into some kind of mixture, and that mixture is used to create the creation by Brahma, whose Antaryami is Bhagavan. And the knowledge of creation is given by Bhagavan only to Brahma, right?
Knowledge of creation is given by Bhagavan to Brahma, therefore does see if you say the creator himself is Bhagavan, Antaryami Sriman Narayana is the creator, once you say that, and then you say knowledge of creation has been given by Vishnu to Brahma, you should be 100% clear in the concept. Did he give the knowledge so that Brahma could use it? Or if as the Antaryami Bhagavan only did this through Brahma's body, is it going to imply that he gave knowledge which cannot be used? I will give you knowledge, but I will only control everything. You know, there is one movie in which the father gives the son an instruction. He says, go to the office, do this, do that, do that. The son goes to the office, but he sees that everything has already been taken care of by his father. Is that the way Bhagavan is behaving? Which sentence are you combining with what? Please be careful then.
Okay, I'm just asking. It's like
He gave the knowledge. That is true. With that knowledge, Brahma created. That is true. But when Brahma created, how did he create? When we say anybody does anything, it is in reality Bhagavan who is doing. Bhagavan, by using Brahma's body, gave powers to Brahma's body to be able to do all of these things. Bhagavan can do it without Brahma's body also.
so. You said he is the Upadana, Nimitta, and Sahakari. In that sense, we can take this.
Ahakari, we do not say separately in Vishishtadvaitha. To be Sampradaya neutral, I added Sahakari.
Okay, he is the Atma of Prakriti as well, so he is Atma of everything. So everything which is going on is indirectly by Bhagavan only, directly or indirectly. That is what you are trying to say.
In the context of creation, the creator is Bhagavan. That is what I'm saying.
Creator is Bhagavan. So
Because your
Bhagavan,
sentence is more generic, then your sentence will demand the question, oh, why are you saying he is the creator? Why don't you say that the creation is also him? Brahma created by Bhagavan only by using this. Say that also because Bhagavan is only there.
okay.
Then I will have to say, no, no, he is not created. Then they will say, oh, even Prakriti is not created. Prakriti was transformed from one form to another. You called it creation. Bhagavan is transformed from one form to another. You call it creation. Bhagavan is there. No, he was there inside Mula Prakriti. He was there inside pure Prithvi. He is there inside mixed Prithvi also. He is there inside the soil also, on the ground. So why don't you say Bhagavan was created by Brahma? You will add more confusion. So you should be very careful. We do not deny the existence of Bhagavan in soil or in mixed Prithvi or in Prithvi. We say, yes, yes, all of that is also Bhagavan because all of that is Bhagavat Sharira. And he is the Antaryami of that. He is not only inside it, but also outside it.
Hmm.
We have already said it. He is Vibhu. He is everywhere. By being in all of these, he is what gives them their qualities. Anena jivena atmana anupravishya. That is the explanation of the verse of the Veda that I cited.
Hmm. Also, Swami, this is the
Call it
question from
anupravesha. But
uh,
what he did to be able to make items indistinguishable, for that, what did he do? He did anupravesha. He entered inside. How could he enter inside? He was already inside of it. No. Yes, he was already inside of it. But when we say he entered it, it means he gave it the ability to do whatever he wanted it to do. That is not physical entering.
hmm. Also, this question, Swami, you told me to ask in this session. It's a
I
bit
did not
out
tell
of
you to ask in the session. You asked me a question just that I saw just before the class. Therefore, I told you ask in this session.
yeah,
Again, I'm saying, please be clear.
yeah. That question is Pranatat Kleshatvam, Pranatat Klesha Nashakatvam, sorry.
Is
So,
the question you had asked. Your question was there is a guna which is applicable. That is a guna.
yes.
Pranata klesha nashakatvam. I think that is what you are referring to.
Yes, Pranatat Klesha Nashakatvam is a guna, is applicable to the Saguna Brahma, not the Nirguna Brahma. As per the Advaita of Shankaracharya, because Nirguna Brahman, as per Adi Shankaracharya, can never have any attribute itself. So you cannot just
Nirguna means without any guna. Point
uh,
number one. Point
mm,
number two, Adi Shankaracharya does not accept the concept of two Brahman. He accepts only one, Brahma Mokkate.
uh,
Okay. He accepts only one Brahman. That one Brahman is Nirguna. But due to our own ignorance, we see everything as Saguna. We cannot even understand Nirgunatva. Okay.
okay.
I told you to ask here because you asked at something like 6:50 p.m. And this is a concept that has already been covered in the class.
Mm,
Okay. So whatever we see as Saguna Brahman also does not in reality exist as Saguna Brahman. That supreme reality which is called as Paramartha, there only Nirguna Brahman is there. Saguna Brahman is one reflection of that Nirguna Brahman. But this is a kind of special reflection because it helps us to move towards that Nirguna Brahman. There are infinite reflections, no. I am also a reflection, but I am useless. Vishnu in Vaikuntha is a reflection, but he is useful. Hence Shankaracharya says, Bhaja Govindam Mudhamate.
So how do we interpret the word Nirguna?
Firstly, where is it said matters a lot. Secondly, the context and the concept matter. If the scripture calls Bhagavan as Nirguna, we will say Nirguna means Gunatita, beyond the three gunas.
like Shuddha Sattva.
What is the sorry, like
Shuddha Sattva. I mean, beyond the three gunas is like Shuddha Sattva.
we say beyond the three gunas, we imply that the three gunas always exist in combination. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, everybody has all the three gunas.
Hmm.
Beyond that combination is that pure Shuddha Sattva state.
So the word Nirakara, how do we interpret it?
Now this is now I should become a dictionary. Huh?
No, just I'm asking out of curiosity.
There is a word aguna, then there is a word nirguna. Nirguna means beyond gunas. How do you interpret beyond gunas? Not having any guna, or having guna in such a way that it is beyond the gunas. The first route was taken by Adi Shankaracharya to explain nirguna. We say wherever it is mentioned in the scripture, we can take the second route. We are not, you will not find Sri Vaishnavacharyas again and again using the word nirguna, 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 nirguna. You will not see them describing Bhagavan that way ever. We call him Savishishta, Savishesha. He has a lot of Visheshas. He is there. He is Chidachit Vishishta Brahman. He is Nikhila Heya Pratyanika. He is Kalyana Ikatana. That is how we describe him. Why should we pick up words and say, okay, this word, what is the meaning of this word? That word, what is the meaning of that word? If that word comes in the scripture and if the scripture describes him that way, then we will say it. No.
Understood, sir.
Nirakara means beyond akara. You understand? No, nirguna means beyond guna. Nirakara means beyond akara.
Beyond Akara in the sense, the Akara which he is showing
He
to
is
us.
not bound by the three gunas. That is what is meant by nirguna. He is
Oh,
not bound by any akara. That is what is meant by nirakara.
okay, okay.
Finished. You don't have to think any further. It is very easy. Bhagavan, as per Vishishtadvaitha, whether or see, he is Sarva Shariri, but whether he comes with a showable body or not, does he require any Sharira to do any kind of his operation? He doesn't. He can be completely formless, and without using any of his Sharira, he can still accomplish what he wants. In Advaita, when you say Bhagavan is Nirguna, that itself can again be questioned. They will say Bhagavan himself is defined only in Vyavahara. They do not use the word Bhagavan when they talk about Nirguna. They use the word Brahma. They use the word Atma. Okay.
When you use the word formless, does that mean that it is like he's like a void or without any form, or it is like the form which we are seeing even beyond that?
That depends on the context. No. I told you Bhagavan, he does not have to take any form, but
Hmm.
he can take form, whichever form he likes. He is not
Hmm.
bound by any form. Therefore, I say he is beyond form. That's all.
Originally, how we see it is even unknown to us.
What do you mean, even unknown to us? Are we knowers of everything? We are not Sarvajñas, we are Bhagavad.
Yes, of course. In 10th chapter, he says, my true nature is unknown to rishis and devatas as well.
But that nature is wherever, as described by the Vedas, wherever it is described, we accept. Remember this.
Yes.
It
Oh,
is easy to cite, but you should understand the implication of the citation. Now
yes.
you are saying my true nature is unknown. Oh, so all this while, whatever you said, he is Sarva Shariri. No, there is no guarantee that he is Sarva Shariri because Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita that my true nature is unknown even to rishis. So when Kashyapa Rishi said, Sharire tava pashyami jagat sarvamidam prabho, we don't have to take it as pramana because Krishna has said even rishis don't know my true nature.
No, it is not like
So
this.
Paksha will come that way. You should be careful when you speak.
Hmm.
Okay. In which context did he say it? What did Krishna imply? When he said, even rishis do not understand me, what did he imply? He did not imply that the Veda Vakyas are apramana or anything like that. Their pramanya will always be there.
Hmm.
Whatever description is there about him in the Veda or in the Itihasa or the Purana, we accept all of that.
Beyond that, we
A
cannot.
complete understanding of the Vakyas as well as the understanding beyond the limits of the Vakyas.
Yes.
Because he cannot
Beyond what
explain it.
Bhagavan revealed to us, we cannot know.
We can if we attain moksha.
That is in state of moksha, not like Baddha.
So that is why be specific when you speak,
Yes, yes.
or present it as a question.
Sure.
Any other question?
No, Swam.
Okay. We will conclude here. Thank you for attending. Shivotram Shila Shodadi Gautubhasya Shivas Raghava Gurostanim Tapsha Vidyavapi Bhutam Tam Budhana Purvesdar Digurum Pranakarakhyam. Was this recorded? Or has the recording ended?
Recording is going on, Swam.